Overnight, there was yet another deadly Russian drone strike over Ukraine. Officials say this attack killed at least 5 people and injured 14 others in the eastern city of Pavlograd. Now, this follows a series of sustained deadly strikes on Kyiv yesterday. You remember this footage, where at least 12 people were killed and dozens more injured. President Trump responded with an urgent plea to Russian President Vladimir Putin to stop the bombing. And in an exclusive interview, Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan spoke with Russia's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, about that deadly attack.
What made it worth killing civilians when Ukraine says it's ready for a ceasefire?
We only target military goals or civilian sites used by the military. President Putin expressed this for so many times, and this is not different this time as well.
Interesting response there. Let's bring in CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand. She's following the U.S. response to all this from the White House. Natalie, good morning. President Trump posted what just appears to be a rare public rebuke of Russian President Vladimir Putin after that attack on Kyiv, saying literally stop. But beyond that, how is the White House pressuring Moscow?
Good morning, Errol. Well, when pressed by reporters in the Oval Office yesterday about that social media post, the president acknowledged he is not happy with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He was asked, though, if bombing continues, if Russia continues to strike Ukraine, what consequences will be taken? Will the U.S. impose additional sanctions? What pressure, direct pressure, is the U.S. putting on Russia? Here's some of what he had to say.
We're putting a lot of pressure on Russia, and Russia knows that, and some people that are close to it know, or he wouldn't be talking right now. It takes 2 to tango. And you have to have Ukraine want to make a deal, too. And they're being hit very hard. And I do believe they want to make a deal.
Now, today, the president's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is expected to meet with Putin for a 4th time as these negotiations continue. President Trump yesterday saying he still believes that both sides want to make a deal. But when he was asked about concessions that would have to be made, what territory would Ukraine have to give up, he essentially said, we'll do our best, but they lost a lot of territory in this war, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. And when he was asked about concessions Russia would have to make, he said they would stop the war and essentially not take all of Ukraine, and that was a big concession in his view. But Crimea, Errol, could be a big sticking point here. That, of course, was seized by Russia back in 2014 under the Obama administration. In a new interview published this morning by Time magazine, the president is quoted as saying Crimea will stay with Russia. But important to note, Errol, that Zelensky, Ukraine's president, has said that Ukraine will not recognize control of Crimea. Also important to note that during President Trump's first term, his then Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, wrote a declaration regarding Crimea, saying that this was undermining a bedrock of international principle shared by democratic states, that no country can change the borders of another by force.
Really important topics to get in. Natalie Brand at the White House, thank you.